With Ryan Preece's flip in the 2025 Daytona 500, the conversation has once again been about the safety of restrictor plate racing. Superspeedway racing has two problems: the drivers themselves and the cars themselves. Many drivers are making bonehead moves to gain or maintain their position, but the cars also play a part in encouraging aggressive moves and being quick to endanger drivers by getting airborne in odd circumstances when previous generations of race car wouldn't. Sure, restrictor plate racing has always been a dangerous game. In the wake of Bobby Allison's flight into the catch fence at Talladega in 1987, restrictor plates were put on cars to slow speeds down to prevent them from taking off and becoming airborne. The lowered speed bunches everyone up into packs, with nowhere for anyone to really go. When lowered speeds didn't fully solve the issue, roof flaps were developed, designed to keep a car from getting in the air when spun backwards. While restrictor plates and roof flaps have prevented tons of spins from becoming bad accidents, it's unreasonable to suggest these fixes are totally perfect, and we've seen plenty of cars take flight over the decades. Although the amount of flips in the Next Gen era is more or less the same as prior generations of race car, the manners in which these flips occur is new and unique and not at all like your traditional examples of cars getting spun sideways or backwards and lifting off. So why have things suddenly changed, and why is Preece's most recent flip cause for concern? The first reason is car design. The Next Gen car has what is called an underwing. Essentially, the bottom of the car is sealed off, which is supposed to improve handling and raceability in traffic. However, the Next Gen car is notoriously terrible in traffic, so the entire underwing doesn't even meet its intended objective. The underwing does have an unintended consequence, and that is that its flat surface acts as a wing whenever the car gets sideways at high speed, or whenever a car is physically moved far enough up into the air. As we saw in Preece's accident, the contact he made with the spinning Christopher Bell and then Eric Jones, who was right beside him, launched the front end of the 60 car into the air. Throughout most of NASCAR history, Preece's car would have settled back down onto its wheels, but not with the Next Gen car. The flat underwing allowed the air to keep pushing up on a flat, smooth surface until the 60 car was completely off the ground and the momentum spun the car around and over onto its roof. It was really unlike any type of flip we've seen from a stock car in racing history, hence Clint Bowyer's shocked declaration of "oh my" as the wreck was going on. It was strange to see a stock car do essentially a front blowover. It's definitely common in open wheelers, and we've seen it happen plenty of times in IndyCar and in some prototypes, because both of those types of cars have a flat underwing, or floor, to generate downforce. I'd say Preece's accident oddly resembles Colton Herta's accident on Carb Day before the 2022 Indy 500. We just don't see a stock car start the blowover process while still facing forward. This is now the fourth year of the Next Gen era, and NASCAR has not come up with a solution. They've tried adding more wickers and roof rails, and that obviously has not solved the problem. I guess they could just try wrecking less.
Up in the wrecking. Oh, crash. And a squeeze it. Couldn't do it. Into the wall goes Logano. For the front. Oh, gets fell into the wall. Up in the air goes Ryan Preece, and Herbst is around. And they crash. Hamlin gets turned.
Or perhaps that's too much to ask for. Superspeedway racing has long been about pack racing and the anticipation of when something goes horribly wrong. Waiting for the big one to happen is part of the intrigue of superspeedways, whether fans will admit it or not, and I don't think this is a controversial statement. However, recently it seems like fans are starting to turn on superspeedway racing because the wrecking has become excessive. Many drivers are making moves that are clearly ill-advised. Are the drivers just being dumb, or are spotters not doing their job correctly? Just take a look at the accident that started with Ricky Stenhouse and Joey Logano. I really think that entire wreck could have been easily avoided. Preece's accident got started when Christopher Bell got turned on a straightaway. The high drag package of the Next Gen requires drivers to essentially push each other all the way around the track, and the front and rear bumpers don't line up too well. Older cars like the Gen 4 cars did not require pushing like that. Drivers back then would employ the quick bump draft in the middle of a straightaway, but they'd back off before the corner. Now you have to keep pushing the whole way around, even when the cars get light on corner entry or exit. I think pretty much every superspeedway wreck in the last 10 years has been caused by a bad push, but pushing is a necessary evil. Wrecking at superspeedways has always been part of the show, but it's gotten so bad that the major storyline of Speed Weeks was the judgment call NASCAR officials would have to decide when to throw the caution when the wreck eventually happened on the final lap. With the exception of the ARCA race and the first dual race, that exact scenario played out in every race of the week. At some point though, we can't always blame the aero package for the drivers doing dumb things. We saw dumb things cause wrecks in every race in Daytona. These are supposed to be the best stock car drivers in the world, but a lot of the time these races end up looking like iRacing disasters. Mind you that once upon a time, restrictor plate races used to go caution free, and I'm not talking about the 1980s either. 2001 and 2002 both saw caution free cup races at Talladega. That 2001 race, they were 4 wide on top of each other at the finish, yet no one caused a massive pileup. Were drivers more talented back then, or did they have a good head on their shoulders and have respect for their competitors? Perhaps they had a better sense of fear also. Some of the younger drivers that have come through recently haven't competed in an era where the threat of serious injury or worse was palpable. I'll wrap this up by saying the fix to superspeedway racing is on NASCAR and the drivers. NASCAR can change some things to improve how raceable the package is, instead of being the luck of the draw. Plate racing has always been about luck, but now more than ever it feels completely random and not a driver out there is in any control of their destiny. In prior eras, a bad fast car at Daytona or Talladega would keep you up front and out of trouble. Now even that has gone away. The impetus to change relies on the drivers to unscrew their noggins from an unsavory place, and think about things before they do them, that's all. I'm armchair driving here, but I feel like it's the honest truth. I love superspeedway racing, and any suggestion to get rid of it totally is unreasonable. But things can improve and be better. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.